The race officer's job is to run the day's racing for the sailors. This video will explain how. We'll start with an overview, then look at everything in detail. It can get busy, so it's always a good idea to have an assistant. The race box is set up to make the job as easy as possible. This video will walk you through everything you need to know to make the day a success. First, there's preparation. The race officer makes sure the race box, race marks, safety boats, forms and course map are ready. Then the racing officer holds a briefing session to make sure everyone is clear about the course. The auto start panel is then used to get the race underway. This panel is designed to help with any problems that may occur. During the race officer will note the lap times of every boat. With the race finished, the times are collated and the results announced. Finally, the race officer will shut down the race box. So let's have a look at each step in more detail. Access the race box and you'll see 4 panels. The far left panel has wind speed, a telephone and a VHF radio. The next panel gives a visual display of the club race marks on the river. The third panel is the auto signal panel. Far right is the manual backup system. Below the desk is the power switch for the air horn compressor. With the compressor powered up, turn on the stopcock under the desk to operate the air horn. Behind you is the access window for the flagpole. 2 flags should be displayed on race days. At the top of the mast is the club burgee and lower is the red ensign. It's advisable to have an assistant racing officer to help. The race box can be closed during races to prevent distractions.
Really has no excuse for not knowing which safety boat is which safety boat.
No boat should enter the water before the safety boat is afloat and operating, so make sure the safety boat has priority down the jetty. Then establish communications via the VHF radio on the far left panel using channel 37. You are Ribble Clubhouse and the safety boat is Ribble Safety Boat 1 or Ribble Safety Boat 2. For races with over 6 boats, 2 safety boats should be operational. Safety boat 1 is identified by a green engine cover. Safety boat 2 shows an orange engine cover. It is the responsibility of each boat owner to hold valid buoyancy certificates and insurance. They must be satisfied of the soundness of their vessel. Personal buoyancy must be worn at all times when engaged in club racing. This includes preparing to launch on the jetty. The racing officer should prepare the signing in sheet and make sure it's in place in the clubhouse. It's only necessary to sign once on a race day, but failure to do so could mean disqualification. Cruisers don't have to sign on, but must display their appropriate class flag on their backstay. You'll need the signing in form to create the results sheet. The race officer decides the course, taking into consideration tide and wind. To help you, you'll find the club weather station displaying a wide range of data on a PC to the right of the signal panels. You will find the position of the racing buoys on a map on the backup panel. The final course should be agreed with a senior member of the sailing committee. The course board is situated under the male pigeonholes. Mark up the board with the day's events, the course, number of laps and start time. Display outside the clubhouse. The racing officer holds a briefing session at the clubhouse to make sure everyone is clear about the course, direction of tide, wind and other conditions. If cruisers are participating, the course should be displayed at the dock for at least 60 minutes before the start. Prior to the start, cruisers can confirm the course configuration via their VHF radio on channel 37 with the race officer. The start and finish is an imaginary line that extends through the club flagstaff and the yellow pole with the diagonal cross on top, situated west of the jetty in front of the race box. This is clearly visible from the water. As the flagpole is situated behind the race box, the racing officer lines the start line up with the vertical string positioned in the window. For dinghies, but not cruisers, the outer limit of the line is the outer distance marker. So dinghies start close to the shore, and cruisers must start in the channel beyond the marker. The start sequence is 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 1 minute, start. The racing officer controls the start from the automatic signal panel. Start by powering up the auto system. Select the classes of boats racing by pressing the appropriate buttons. To start the automatic race countdown, press the auto start sequence button. Confirm the command. You'll see the confirmation button change to green when the command is accepted. Now, nothing will happen until the system locks onto the timer at the next minute change. The 5-minute countdown begins when the system locks onto the timer. All 3 lights come on and the 5-minute countdown begins. Next comes the 4-minute signal and the 5-minute light goes out. With 1 minute left, the system automatically switches off the 4-minute light. When 10 seconds are left, an attention-getting signal sounds in the race box. Look down the start line and make sure all boats are behind the line when the start signal sounds. The race starts and the countdown timer now begins to count up the race in seconds. The lighting system has double lights, so if one individual light fails, the correct signal is maintained. The racing officer must record the time for each boat every time it completes a lap. Write the times on the race results sheet. To help, there are 2 ways to pause the timer so that you can take an accurate reading. First, you can press the clock hold button on the auto start panel to freeze the clock so that the time can be recorded. When released, the clock continues. The handheld clock hold button enables you to use your other hand for writing down lap times. The finish line is the same transit as the start, the imaginary line between the vertical string and the yellow pole with the cross. For a dinghy to finish the course, it must cross the finish line on the inside of the outer distance marker, closer to the shore. Cruisers can finish either side of the outer distance mark. On the automatic signal panel, you'll find a number of different signals to cover different situations. To cancel a race, press the cancel button on the auto start panel and confirm the command. The lights and sound signal will operate automatically. To clear the cancel signal, press the cancel button a second time and confirm the command. Postpone lets sailors know the start sequence has been delayed for now but will be restarted soon. Press the postpone button and confirm. The lights and the sound signals are triggered automatically. Press the postpone button a second time and confirm. The postpone signal is now cancelled. The racing officer can start the race by using the auto start sequence. The shorten signal tells sailors the race will finish the next time they cross the finish line. The first boat to finish is the first boat that you do not think will cross the line in the time available, as results are produced using average lap times. This may not be the leading boat. Abandon a race by pressing the abandon button and confirming. Individual recall should be used when any boat over the line at the start can be identified. The light signal shall continue to be displayed until the individual recall button is pressed and confirmed again after the offending boats have restarted correctly. When a boat is over the line at the start but cannot be identified, press the General Recall button and confirm the command. The General Recall lights come on and there are 2 hoots. When all boats have returned to the start area, press the General Recall button again and confirm. Now, at the end of the next full minute, there will be a sound signal and all the lights will go out. And 1 minute after that, the auto start sequence will begin automatically. You have a backup panel on the far right. The auto and the manual panels cannot be operated at the same time, so only use the manual panel when there's a problem with the auto panel. The manual panel helps you control all lights and the hooter, but it needs to be operated manually. So power up, select the sailing classes and operate the lights and horns manually. All the light sequences and all the sound signals are clearly shown on the panel. Take timing from the clock. At the end of the race officer will have all the lap times of every boat. Each class of boat has a Portsmouth yardstick number, the PY number. These are updated annually and you will find the PY numbers in the race file. The results for the races can be calculated by multiplying the time in seconds by 1000 and then dividing by the appropriate PY number for the class of the boat. This gives the corrected time. The corrected times for each boat are then entered on the result sheet. This should then be displayed on the club notice board within 60 minutes of the finish. At the end of racing, there's still some jobs left to be done to close down. Switch off the auto system and the compressor. Return the stopcock to the upright position. Lower the club burgee and the ensign. Return the course board to its place under the mail pigeonholes. Leave the race box tidy and close the door.